Hello again everybody, it's me, Madame Macabre, and I am back with another story time for Monday. So lately I've been chatting up with my friends, trying to figure out cosplay plans for all the upcoming 2017 conventions. After like 2 years of trying to convince me, I finally settled down upon gathering my bearings and trying to take on making a Bayonetta cosplay. It's going to be interesting. For the longest time, I thought I was just going to commission somebody to do this because I've been kind of scared of taking on a bodysuit, but I think my sewing abilities have improved enough to give it a try. We'll see how it goes. I've got a little over 9 months until the next SakuraCon, which is what I'm aiming to have it ready for, so we'll see. Hopefully it happens. But that sort of brings me along to the story that came to mind. See, I've had some fun experiences and some not so fun experiences trying to hunt for the perfect fabric for various cosplays over the years. And one particular story came to mind was when I was trying to find some fabric for actually 2 costumes that are coming up for SakuraCon. I was looking for as I mentioned, the material for the Bayonetta jumpsuit, which I've been looking for some 4-way stretch kind of PVC material, and then I was also looking for a nice black material so I can continue making improvements on my Kylo Ren robes, which I'm trying to make closer and closer to screen accurate over the course of time as I get a little bit more money to put into that sinkhole of a costume. So back in April, there was a huge fabric sale at this really cool fabric store I had never been to before up in Seattle. And my sister and I decided to go check it out because apparently fabric was selling for $1 a yard, which any of you guys who sew, that's like mind-blowing because they weren't discriminating what type of fabric. Everything was $1 a yard, or they had entire bolts that you could get for like 50% off, 75, 80%, ridiculously low prices. So we were pretty excited. So we headed up there and we decided to go a little bit early. And I'm so glad we did, because even though we went there about 45 minutes before the sale was supposed to start, they were already letting people in and it was a madhouse. Really? Right now? Quiet all day? But now that I'm recording, okay, cool. The store itself was this really cool kind of eclectic-y old building that was just full of stuff everywhere, but there were so many people that it was hard to move. It was literally shoulder to shoulder with a grand variety of soccer moms and old women, and they were aggressive, let me tell you something. We started out kind of running in to see if there was anything left, because you could look from end to end of the store and you would see various women, arms full of bolts, just anything they could grab, and it's like, do you really need that much? They would literally clean out the tables that were full of fabric, hoard it all like Smeagol in The Ring, and like, no, this is all mine, I need all of this. They'd take everything, and like, okay, cool, you got there first, whatever. I mean, it's a little rude to take more than what you specifically need just because it's cheap, but whatever. You were there first. But what I did take issue with was when I got there first and they ripped it away from me. Okay, so one of the fabrics I was looking for was this beautiful silvery sheer material because one of my other friends is going to be doing a Star Wars cosplay with me, and she's wanting to make a Captain Phasma inspired costume, and she couldn't make it up to Seattle with me, so she's like, hey, if you can find something silver, could you get it for me? And I was running around, like, trying not to get tackled by Granny down the lane, and I finally, on one of the other tables from across the room, I see a sparkly material, and I'm overjoyed. I'm like, oh my gosh, well, I haven't gotten anything I've needed so far, maybe this will work, and it was a nice-sized bolt of it. So I ran over, and I was looking it over, thinking, oh yeah, and I felt it was the right material. So right as I was reaching out to grab the beautiful silver fabric, I felt the arms of another person shoot behind me, under my shoulder, just whoosh, under my arm as I'm reaching. Snatch onto that sucker and yank it through, scraping it against my body. I turned around, and it was someone my own mother's age, and she just looked at me and ran off. Like, I was so in shock. I couldn't even say anything. I was clearly grabbing the fabric. She just, get over here. Like, oh my god, okay, Scorpion, leave. I've never encountered that before, especially not with some middle-aged woman who looks like she probably carts kids around in a minivan. That was just sheer untapped aggression. I was a little shaken up, not gonna lie, was not expecting that. So I decided, you know what, instead of hunting down Helen from PTA and fist fighting her over my fabric, I'm just gonna keep looking. It's not worth it. It's just a doozy of a day. So I went to the upstairs area because there were multiple floors. I think there were 3 floors to this fabric store. So I went to the 2nd floor and I started looking around. It was still it was like a battlefield full of carnage. People throwing fabrics they didn't want out of the way, picking up bolts and running and looking like football players charging. It was pandemonium. And I am not a person who likes to go places that are crowded to begin with. So my anxiety was a little high to begin with. I'm like, don't touch me. But I went ahead and powered through because I wanted to find some fabric to make it worth driving all the way out to the store. So I carefully squeezed my way around people, trying not to touch them or be rude, even though they were being rude to me. And I finally worked my way over and I found some stuff that looked like it was upholstery fabric. And I didn't know if I was gonna have any luck there, but I actually came across something that looked like it was a 4-way stretch pleather. It was a little shinier than what I intended to use for the suit, but the entire bolt was on sale for like $4, which is insane. So I was like, hey, I can make do with this. This'll work great. And you'll never guess what happened as I reached for it. Yep, once again, I just wasn't moving fast enough, I guess. I didn't realize I had to shoot it out like a spear fisherman. Because right as I reached for the nice fabric, a sweet little old granny smacked my hand out of the way and snatched up the bolt herself. Now, not only was I shocked by the fact that this woman literally smacked my hand, but this woman looked like she was maybe 75, 80 years old. What does a woman her age need stretch pleather for? I don't even want to think about it. By this point, I was feeling traumatized and dejected and just a whole plethora of awful feelings, so I started to just head back to the front of the store to see if I could find my sister because it seemed like the whole day was a wash. However, as I was on my way towards the stairs, I actually noticed a corner filled with some really, really ugly old upholstery fabric. We're talking about like the 70s, like bright orange and brown patterns that just, you couldn't use it for anything. However, behind said ugly fabric, I saw something that looked like it was knocked over. Wedged on its side, probably the only reason it hadn't already been snatched up by an aggressive Susan, was it was knocked kind of out of sight, was this beautiful, high quality, almost suitings-like satiny material that would be perfect for me updating one of my Kylo Ren costumes. And we're talking massive industrial bolt. Anyway, I was about to hit the roof. I was so excited I finally found something useful. So I put on my prospector's cap and I started digging that bad boy out. And let me tell you, it was not easy because my strength is in my legs, not my arms. I will tell you that right now. And I had to kind of try and hulk that thing upright off its side. And my way of carrying it, I put the bottom on top of one of my feet and held it like this and took a step and like clumsily hulked around, and I had to get that down the stairs to get in line. Now, I was able to find my sister, who, she had way better luck than I did, but my sister is also a mother herself, so maybe she's got better access to her internal rage and is able to just, like, slam down with the other mothers. But, she had a ton of stuff, but she was already in line, so I was able to join her, and, I got in line, and she was super excited for me because I actually got something. And the first thing I noticed as soon as I got into line was all these other women around me eyeing me like hungry sharks. A few of them even reached out and touched the fabric I was holding, and they were like, "Oh, this is beautiful. You're so lucky to have found this." Meanwhile, I'm holding on to that sucker with a death grip like, yeah, how lucky for me. Mine. Go away. I mean, there were a couple people in that store that were actually pretty nice. There was like a girl in front of me who had like a 501st jacket and was all excited when I told her I was going to be using the fabric for a Kylo Ren thing. But, sadly, the nice people were definitely the minority. I think the worst, most blatant, like, kind of annoying soccer mom-ism that I encountered was one of the women who had snatched another material I had grabbed earlier. Not the stretchy or the silver, but just another one that I thought was cool for some other project. She hadn't, like, reached under me or slapped my hand, but she saw me going for it and she kind of pushed in front of me and grabbed it. This same woman looked at the fabric I was holding onto for dear life, and she had the nerve to go, "Oh my gosh, that's a lot of fabric, and that material, that would be perfect for the project I'm working on. I would love to have that fabric." Yeah, well, I would love to throw you headfirst into a dumpster, but we don't always get what we love. No, in all reality, I was just like, yeah, well, I've got a big project that I'm going to use this on, so, sorry, I gotta keep it, playing nice. And she, of course, was a... "Yes, tell me again how rude and awful the millennials are. Tell me, music to my ears, old hag." The line took forever to get through, even though I was about halfway through it, because they just had one poor girl working the register at the beginning before they finally opened up a second one. The store and the staff was absolutely great. They were nice, and the prices were amazing, and I think that I paid $12 for that material. That there was about 25 yards of it. I found it at a different fabric store the other day, and it was actually $24 a yard, and hoo-hoo! So I saved a bit of money getting that $12 industrial bolts. But all in all, it was a pretty fun day with me and my sister. We got to have some bonding over our crafting. But I did learn some frightening facts about soccer moms and old women. I had never before that day really realized that they could be brutal war criminals. But I guess that's true with all things in life. Anybody's got the potential to become a bloodthirsty monster when given the proper motivation. Anyway, I hope you got a kick out of that horrifying story, and I hope your fabric hunts are more fruitful and less terrifying in the future. But that's really all I've got for you guys today, so thank you for watching, and I will catch you on Friday. That's all for now. Bye-bye!